Hey guys, what's going on? I am Hunter. It is Tuesday morning and I'm looking forward to casting this game for you guys. This is going to be game 2 between oGs.HerO and oGs.StC. Now they're using sort of Smurf IDs, they're using like buddies accounts because this is a American tournament and they needed to play on the American server obviously, but these guys, they're members of oGs. That's a Korean clan of course, and as such I feel like they just have Korean, BattleNet accounts. So yeah, that's the reason why the names are off. But this is oGs.HerO, red Protoss in the bottom left position, and oGs.StC is the blue Terran player down at the bottom right. They have spawned horizontally, and on Shakuras Plateau, you can actually spawn horizontally or you can spawn diagonally, but you can't spawn vertically, which is one of the only maps that actually has that restriction, at least in the 1v1 map pool. So that's pretty cool. It usually makes for more macro-intensive maps. Macro-intensive matches is what I meant to say. And those are always exciting. This is, it wasn't too macro-heavy in Game 1. And we sort of got a sense of, what these players, like to do. They were playing on Metalopolis, and we just saw a really aggressive timing push from HerO. It was basically an all-in with, 4 warp gates and 1 robo off of 1 base. And you can't support that off of 1 base for very long, and if you continue to do that, you'll end up mining out. And yeah, so that's why that's at least part of the reason why you'd consider that to be an all-in. Now, I find interesting that we actually don't have any buildings just yet gone down for oGs.StC. He's saving up minerals and he's putting down his command center, very fast command center on Shakuras Plateau. It is quite a long rush distance by foot, although STC has not actually even scouted his opponent just yet. STC hasn't left the base with anything. So he's going to sort of be playing a defensive role here in the early game because he's going to be trying to get ahead economically. And, if you want to secure that lead, you're going to have to defend effectively. And that all actually does depend on what oGs.HerO is going to decide to do. So far, he just put down 1 gateway, 1 cybernetics core, and actually, he's got the gateway rallied all the way... How far is it rallied, actually? Oh, actually into the main, right into the main of the STC. So, yeah, it sort of indicates to me some early pressure. I'm wondering if he's going to choose to use any chrono boosts on this gateway. 50 energy actually now saved up. He could opt to chrono boost warp gates or stalkers or probes. He's just kind of not using the energy at all right now. I was kind of curious about what he might do there, but nonetheless, we have a probe still doing lots of scouting. But to be fair, once the probe saw the command center, that's basically all the scouting he needed, and the probe unfortunately does get taken out. Probably wasn't worth hanging around in the base for that long to lose the probe, although maybe he just wanted to check to see when the geysers were going to go down. And look at this ballsy zealot. Oh, should have been on attack move. Actually, no, that's not true, because then he would have attacked the bunker and that wouldn't have been good. But he could have gotten some shots off on the marine. And the SCV, poor SCV, just trying to build a little fort, build a barracks, and he just gets sliced in half by the zealot. That finally does get taken out. But I don't know, 50 minerals for the SCV plus build time, traded off for, 100 minerals for the Zealot. I don't know if that was entirely worth it. We have a Stalker now as well. Now, yeah, he doesn't want to push in. He would take so much damage from the bunker, and then the 3 Marines would hop out, and they would likely finish off the Stalker. So, you know what? He maybe should have waited with the Zealot and then moved in with both of those units and try to run by, possibly. The Stalker can kite a little bit. Stalkers have 1 extra range compared to Marines. So, yeah, you can kite a little bit if your control is spot on. Nexus now over halfway complete, and Chrono Boost being used on probes. Still just 1 gateway producing units. Cybernetics core, robotics facility. Obviously, he's had the Psi core up for a while, and Warp Gate research is now completed, so he's going to, continue to up his production capabilities by putting down 1 gateway, 1 robo, while the Terran player now pushing out just a little bit. The Stalker maybe would want to hang out on the other side of the bushes. Oh, surprise! If those Marines had just been like a hair sooner, they could have killed the Stalker, because the Stalker doesn't have vision on the other side of the weeds. And yeah, he would have been surprised to see like 6 or 7 Marines blasting him. Yeah, anyways. HerO, and by HerO, of course, I mean oGs.HerO, excuse me. Sometimes it is a little confusing with these name tags of like their Smurf IDs. But HerO not, you know, looking too worried at this point. Just getting lots of sentries, which is a really strong defensive tactic in general with the force fields, but not as much on a map like Shakuras Plateau with a medium-sized ramp compared to what we saw last game on Metalopolis with a tiny ramp. Of course, you need 2 force fields to deflect an attack and to block off the ramp on these medium-sized ramps. Now, now mining off of 3 gas. Factory finally on the way, so, you know, 4 racks followed up by 1 factory, so STC is actually really slow to climb the tech tree. I mean, he doesn't even have, he's not even going to have medevacs out for a little while longer. He's getting some nice upgrades, though. He's getting stim pack. He's getting combat shield as well, and it looks like he may try a little timing window. So this is a timing window we can look at on the production tab. Combat shield's about to be finished. Stim pack's about to be finished. And we have oGs.StC trying to, you know, just poke in just a little bit. As soon as those upgrades are complete, we may actually see him push in, but high ground advantage obviously going to our Protoss player HerO. He's going to have force fields and zealots as well, so ideally the Protoss player wants to split the army in half. But you know what, that SCV was used just to scout the unit composition. So you sacrifice an SCV, you see the 4 sentries, and now oGs.StC knows that it's going to be kind of fruitless to attempt to bust up the ramp. Sentries, such a useful unit. Very nice to see the scouting as well with these 4 Marines. I was going to say sentries are, I mean, of course they're a useful unit, and they require a little bit more micro, though. You have to pay attention to sentries, you have to hit the force field timings correctly, and you have to have pretty good aim with them, of course. Pretty nice there, but still eating a lot of damage. Actually, I'm almost hesitant to say that, just because those zealots had to run all the way around the force fields to finally get to the Terran army, but doing a lot of damage. Those force fields preventing Marines and Marauders from escaping. And yeah, that's actually it. That Terran force gets taken out very quickly. Colossus now on the map. Only 6 range, but you know what? HerO doesn't care. Still dealing deadly splash damage to all infantry units. And maybe a slightly wasted Guardian Shield. I mean, it wasn't doing anything for the, like, the latter 60 or 70% of the Guardian Shield. But whatever. That's really not the end of the world. But energy is definitely a commodity, you know, sentry energy, medevac energy, and we got a couple medevacs on the way. Just heading over to meet with the rest of the Marines and Marauders. I'm wondering if Riptide, oh man, sorry guys, as I'm wondering if STC is going to be looking to push out again. He's leading on the Army tab by about 4 supply, well now 94 to 89, and yeah, he may be trying a little bit of a drop tactic, but this Observer might have been just a little bit late to spot the drop. But at the same time, the Observer clears the way. And oGs.HerO knows that he's free to move out and get some free shots off on the factory. At the same time, when HerO only realizes right now, okay, drop. Let's see how he's going to react. How quickly does HerO react here? He's retreating with his units in the middle of the map, and he just warped in some units. Some Zealots, some Stalkers, and is STC actually going to fall back? Is he going to retreat? Is he going to lift off? No. And that was smart. He took out all the Zealots. These medevacs doing a lot of healing, but the Colossus now coming from behind. You got to be careful. You don't want to get that Colossus snipe. They're so expensive. But lifting off with the medevacs and dropping down to the low ground, going to get those final shots off and destroy. Though that monstrous Colossus, 300 minerals, 200 gas, very expensive units. You want to just snap the necks of those big Protoss robots, you know, whatever they may be. Another sort of counterattack, if you will, but lots of Zealots getting warped in. 5 Zealots warped in, and oh, look at the damage distribution between those 5 Zealots. That's not what you want. You want to be killing Zealots and removing their side blades from the, you know, damage per second equation. You really want to get them out of the picture. You don't want to be damaging one and then damaging the second one and then not killing it and damaging a third Zealot. That is not appropriate micro. It's just not efficient. And still just sort of poking and prodding wherever STC can. He's got some units down here. The destructible rocks are still in position. And let's just take a look at the tech as well. Producing off of 8 warp gates, our Protoss player. And the Protoss player also has a perfect eye in the Terran base. So that is a big problem as well. And it's still early in the metagame, if you will, to have players always sniping the observers just perfectly. But look how bad that is in terms of vision. You know, oGs.HerO knows exactly what's going on in the Terran base, like, indefinitely at this point. Still some nice damage done by STC, sniping a pylon there. Getting shots in wherever he can. At the same time, there's another attack on the third base. Lots of Zealots, though, and these Marauders aren't kiting as well as they could. They've got concussive shells, they've got stim packs, and they're just standing in front of the Zealots, letting them, you know, get their faces mauled. Just brutal. Marauders have taken a lot of damage. They are finally going to get taken out. Oh, a little bit of a miss micro there, but at the same time, you know, HerO needs to deal with what's going on at the high ground of his main base, or sorry, third base, right here, which is why HerO had to retreat with some of his stalkers and catching the remainder of his army out of position. Falling back now, HerO needs to get in position to deal with these Marauders. We have some shots going off on the Nexus, but definitely now focusing down on the Immortals. You want to get Immortals out of the picture. So many sentries. The Guardian Shield works okay against Marauders. It's much better against Marines. But those Zealots have no problem cleaning up. Let's take a look at some stats. Very even on the food. 131 for the Protoss player. 127 for STC, our Terran player. Map control pretty even at this stage. Upgrades 1-1 for the Bio Ball. And still stuck at 0 for the Protoss player HerO, only finally getting ground weapons level 1 at almost the 17-minute mark, so those upgrades are a little bit slow, but lots of other tech. We do have Psystorm on the way, and no High Templar I don't think are out just yet. Oh, no, I lied. 4 High Templar. We'll have to keep an eye out for them, because it looks like we're going to have an engagement soon as the Terran army, and they spot each other awkwardly in the middle of the map. 2 nice EMPs going down, mostly on the Zealots, though. One Immortal gets EMP'd as well. The force fields forcing back much of STC's army. And oh no, you don't want to lose these expensive Immortals! 2 of them get sniped very quickly, and they're just too slow and sluggish to escape. That is really a shame. Those are very expensive units. And now, all of a sudden, STC now moving back on the offensive, going to bump into some Stalkers in the middle of the map. Don't want to lose high temps either. Those are very gas-heavy units. And at this stage in the game, it looks like, you know, HerO has lots of tech-heavy production going on. 1 cannon, actually 2 cannons, but the second one isn't in range just yet. A pretty decent Psystorm. A second Psystorm doing a lot more damage. The Stalker's going to manage to clean up those Marauders. And, ooh, it would be really nice if some of these medevacs could get sniped as well. I mean, 6 medevacs, and does he have Blink? He does have Blink, so maybe with perfect micro, HerO could have sniped these medevacs, which would have been huge. I mean, now they're just banking a ton of energy, going to heal up this Marine Marauder Ball, going to be very difficult to deal with. But at the same time, HerO, reacting very well, getting Immortals out when the Marauders have a, major presence on the map. But at this point, he's sort of switching more to, he's got some High Templar out. He has an Archon out as well. Of course, from morphing 2 High Temps together. So lots of gas-heavy units and 3 DTs as well. Very nice. Dark Templar, a very vicious Protoss unit. I don't think Protoss players have even began at all to use Dark Templar to their maximum potential. Gonna send 1 DT to each base, and STC is gonna need, a real heads up, really good game awareness to deal with this. He's got SCVs melting away at the 3rd. SCVs are going to be, under siege in a second from this Dark Templar at the top right base, and I assume that the Dark Templar that headed for the natural has been taken out, but at the same time, how many 13 kills this Instructor Dark Templar? 15, 16, 6 on this Templar here. This guy's Executor. 20 kills on that Dark Templar. Pretty sick. That much damage. 20 SCVs. That is 1,000 minerals and a ton of mining time. So now looking on the army tab, we do have actually still the Terran player StC still in the lead. He's only leading by about 20 supply right now. Before StC was leading by a lot more after one of their recent engagements. But percentage-wise, the game has really tightened up, especially on the army tab. But the income tab is really telling the story. 4 base on 4 base, but 84 probes for HerO and only 57 SCVs for StC, simply because of that frickin' brutal Dark Templar harassment. That's the key thing, you know. Warp and 3DT, send them 1 to each base. It's very hard to micro against that. And a scan does take out the observer. Nice feedbacks going down on those ghosts. 2 ghosts get sniped with feedback, and a quick morph into an Archon, boosting the hit points up to 350. It's always wise to do that as well. And it looks like StC's attack here getting deflected. Some of the medevacs getting fed back as well. And StC decides he has to turn around maybe. He's going to try to kite these zealots, but there's just too damn many death raining from above. Those feedbacks just like lightning bolts from the sky, zapping, taking out the medevacs. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty nice micro from HerO. And this is just, I think it really comes down to unit composition. Here we have tier 1 and like tier 1.5, if you can even call it that. Basically just tier 1 units. And for HerO, he's got Archons, he's got High Temps, he's got DTs, he's got Immortals, he had Colossi. I mean, he is just... Oh, and all these Archons now. That has got to be the scariest thing in the world. Just running away from like 6 clouds of psionic energy that are coming to electrocute you. Archons move pretty damn fast too. It would be cool if they were massive. Well, maybe not massive per se, but more just immune to the concussive shells. At the same time, I'm talking about concussive shells and Archons, but we do have another big attack after busting in the back door. It looks like StC, yeah, I mean, his production facility is really going under siege there. It looks like he only lost 1 or maybe 2 buildings, but this really forces the whole Terran army out of position. Look at this. I mean, we've got 6 ghosts in the main base. That's not where you want them when the Protoss player HerO is pushing in, and a good decision to push up to the 3rd. It's going to just take so long for the Terran army to fall back and be in any position to defend, and of course StC realizes that, forced to call GG. What an action-packed replay. A really entertaining game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was game 2.